Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 44. Guys, this episode is nothing more than a recap episode / promoting the video that's coming this coming week. There's nothing much that moves the needle in terms of the main storyline. So this video is going to be short and sweet, under 10 minutes, I hope. And yeah, let's get started, shall we? So we start this recap episode with Shoma and Sashika. It looks like they came from another gig, and Shoma spots Hajime. And for those who don't know who Hajime is, he is the first kid Shoma encountered during the pilot episode. He was the one who witnessed the first Kachizos getting, being born. He was the one who witnessed him as a Kamen Rider defeating the first part-timer from the Stomach family. And yeah, he was there from the beginning. And Shoma is excited to see him after close to a year of not seeing him. And so Shoma takes him to the Happy Parade offices and tells him ever since I left you, I've been living here and working here. And that's where, we start the recap stuff. And then, Hajime gets showered with Kachizos. And then after all that, we get to the final scene of Shoma's story in this episode, where, Shoma takes Hajime home. And when Hajime heard about Shoma riding a motorcycle, he wants to, ride it, right? And so Shoma said, you know what? I'll take you home on my motorcycle. How about that? And before he takes him home, Hajime asks, is it all right for me to come back again? And of course, Shoma said yes. And then you see them off on his motorcycle all the way home. And then we immediately transition from there to this part-timer who just appears in the human world for the first time. And he is starting his orientation, and we get a recap about the Stomach Company, its founders, and now the leaders, and all this propaganda. Let's be honest. I mean, when I saw that scene with that file and that Ganyu talking about, the Stomach Company and the candies and all that, it was spewing propaganda. And then, after that, the Ganyu goes to another file where Nate pops up and tells the part-timer, beware of these Ganyu hunters, and he tells him in great detail who they are, and also to stay clear of them because they are extremely dangerous. If you see one of them, turn around and walk away. And also, just to add, he also says that if you do your job, you get rewarded with dark treats. If you do not, then you get destroyed, you get killed. Do your job or die. It's typical Stomach Mafia type of thing. And then, speaking of do your job or die, we get Rakira, where he gets nightmares of his little brother getting killed. He is still recovering from the butler beatdown, which I like to dub the Hotaro beatdown. And, he's still recovering. And then Hanto shows up to check on him. And he asks Rakira about the Ganyu president, if he knows anything more about this guy. And Rakira said the same thing he told him and Shoma a couple of episodes ago. And it's just no new information in regards to the president. And then Hanto leaves to find tasty rocks. It's funny because Rakira's like, Hanto offered, hey, I'm just going to go next time I see you, I'm gonna bring in some rocks. And the kid's like, make sure they're tasty. And Hanto's like, how can I tell which one of them are tasty and what is not? And Rakita does not answer him. He just leaves him hanging and he leaves. I find it funny. So we go back to the part-timer, continuing on with his orientation. Nate continues talking about the door space, he likes to call it, the realm, the door realm, as I like to call it. It's like a world between worlds, because you see all these doors, and Nate mentions like he doesn't know how this door space got here, who made it, and why. We don't know. So he said, well, we don't know anything about this door space realm, except that if you open a door, it leads you into a world. It could be the human world, or maybe in an entirely different realm. It's just, you never know with these doors. And it leads the poor part-timer like really having second thoughts, because after getting so much information and receiving death threats, because if you don't do your job, you end up ending up like poor Kamen, Kenji, and the others. He's like, I don't know about this, dude. I don't know. I think I'm gonna quit this job. So he started to chicken out, right? And so all of a sudden, Nate just pops out of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh, you must be the new part-timer, eh? Is there something wrong?" and the part-timer is like, "Oh, Nave-sama," and he's so nervous. He doesn't know what to say, and Nave was like slowly approaching him as like close to his face, like he was attempting to do something to him. But luckily for the part-timer, here comes Hanto, and like just comes out of nowhere too. He's like, where can I find like a tasty rock? Like, where can I find this tasty rocks? And he sees the situation with, this part-timer and Nave, which, by the way, of course, Hanto doesn't know that, this man is a Ganyu / part-timer. He doesn't know that, but regardless, he comes in between them and fights Nave and tells the part-timer, go to safety. I will handle Nave. And then we get to see this estimated under a minute or two fight between Hanto, the Choco Man, versus the Snake Nave. And I have to say, man, he's such a brawler. He is making Banjo from Kamen Rider Build really be like, yeah, you need to step it up a notch in terms of your fighting, because Hanto, along with his fists, he does these weird stunts. Like, it just gives Banjo a run for his money. And I have to say, man, I'm really impressed. And also, I'm impressed how he broke Nave's bow. And it just reminds me of how Obi-Wan Kenobi broke Darth Maul's twin lightsabers. His double-bladed lightsabers, I mean. And it just reminds me of that. And so Nate turned it around because even though his bow became broken because of the stun he pulled, he ends up using his broken bow and turning it into, double blades, and easily defeated Hanto. Now, he could have destroyed Hanto right there and then, but Nate decided, no, thank you. I have no time to play with you, little Choco Man, and he just leaves, leaving Hanto hanging. And that's, Hanto's story in a nutshell. So we go to this weird scene with Shida and Gota. Yes, they're dead, right? But you see them surrounded with white feathers. And I'm like, wait a minute. Are you supposed to be roasting? Are you supposed to be sweating? should it be, fire? Yeah, guys, I know you'd be like, I know where you're getting at, Dayhawk. I know where you're getting at. But yeah, I mean, this scene is so weird because I'm like, why are they surrounded with white feathers knowing all the bad, evil stuff they pulled? Like, you shouldn't be in that feathery world. You should be in Mustafar. Yeah. So yeah, you should be in Mustafar. So why are you in the place where it looks like you're in heaven right now? Anyways, we go to Lango and we get his, background story, his recap, and the reasons why he did what he did. And we get to discover that Papa's stomach was murdered by Lango. And it looked like he poisoned his wine. The reason, well, you can guess. You guessed it right there. He's weak, a traitor. Like, the nail in the coffin for him was him hooking up with a human woman and getting her pregnant. And because of that, we have this stain in our family, aka Shoma. The half Ganyut, half human bane in their existence. And however, they got rid of, Papa's stomach, they got rid of the mother, and they figured, Lango and the rest of the family members were like, hey, we're going to take our family legacy into new heights. But, everything was taken away because of Shoma, interfering with the plans. Plus, the president. He never mentions the president, but he does mention, the little runt. And he said that he will make his move soon. He will rectify that mistake. And yeah, so I don't feel bad for Papa's stomach. Like, let me say this. No one deserves to die the way Papa's stomach did, okay? No one deserves to die like that. But at the same time, his choices, his actions led him to his poison death. He raised his children to be little monsters. They never once mourned Sheeta. They mentioned Gota, but they never mourned her. They just, brushed it off. They brushed it off. Jeeb only cares about getting revenge because he's being haunted by, Sheeta's ghost. And Nave is trying to find a way to weasel his way out of, this situation he has with the president and wants to join Shoma. And judging from the previews for next week's show, he is trying to convince Shoma that the president is much of a threat. We need to get rid of him or else he will target your friends and family on Earth. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm guessing that Nave is pulling the same stunt his little brother did when he tried to pin both Shoma and Lango together and the goal was to have Lango kill Shoma. But that failed, obviously. So what makes Nave think that pitting Shoma and the president, have them kill each other, what would lead to? Because I believe that Shoma would not be strong enough to defeat the president alone. He needs Rakita and Hanto. That's my belief that he needs. He cannot defeat the president on his own. So I think Nave is whoever comes the victor, he's gonna either side with them or just backstabbing in the back. It's either join the winning team or backstabbing in the back and become the winner himself. But he doesn't know that Lango is still out there, so I don't know. I don't know what Nave's plan is, but I get this feeling that he's gonna manipulate Shoma into thinking that he is capable of defeating the president alone, and it's just is Jeeb all over again. It is. It's Jeeb all over again with this whole plan that, hey, I'm going to put in my older brother and the bane of our existence, Shoma, put them in one room in the hopes of Lango coming out of that room alive. And look what happened. It's not going to turn out well, and Shoma is going to make a big mistake in not telling his teammates of what he's planning to do with Nave and the president and all that stuff. But yeah, in any case, Lango will soon make his move, and he's the murderer of, killing his father, which I wasn't surprised. And would his family care if they knew? No. Because, again, look at the examples that I just gave with Gota and Shita. They didn't warn them, and they just went on with their business, and that's it. It's sad, really. Yeah. That's Papa Stomach's fault. He created monsters, and he paid for it with his own life. But Shoma is going to be there to fix that mistake, and he's going to erase the Stomach legacy, at least the bad part of it. And, yep. So we go from Hobo Lango to Nave. Yeah, speaking of Nave. So Nave discovers the Gochizo scout and tries to torture it by, hey, what should I do with you? Should I boil you alive? Should I eat you? Like trying to come up with ways of tormenting this poor Gochizo, and you see it crying and it runs away, and you see Nave, following it, hoping that it will lead to Shoma, and that's how the episode ends. And then we get to the prologue of the movie. We see everybody at peace. You see the twins trying to get some candy. You see Gota eating. And you see, Rikita. You see Hanto on a bike. You see Sashika and this kid from the movie. And then you see Shoma trying to capture this puppy. And you see the main villains of the movie. And that's how the episode ends. Yeah. Nothing to say about this episode. Nothing more than a recap and promoting the movie. The only thing that's new, if you want to call it new, is who killed Papa Stomach, and it was Lango. That was it. And also we got this fight between Nave and Hanto, and that was it. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And can you believe it? You're in 5 episodes away, and it's going to be tough to see it go. Very tough. And already there's a 3rd trailer in regards to Kamen Rider Z. And I don't know. It looks exciting. It looks promising. It's just, I need to know who the head writer is, because if it's the same person that wrote Gotchard, oof. Oh, man. That promising season is going to turn to cacas real soon. In any case, thank you so much for listening. I hope I made it under 10 minutes. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And my question is, are you going to watch the movie? The movie looks interesting. It's just a filler movie. It's not going to move the needle in terms of the main storyline. That's one of the main reasons why I don't watch Rider movies, because they do not add to the main storyline. So I'm just like, nah, it's just a filler movie. Nothing more, nothing less. But in any case, give me your thoughts. Are you going to watch the movie? And if you are, just let me know how it is, and maybe I'll consider watching it. Again, give a like if you like it, and please subscribe, and I will see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!